Now it's time for a lightning talk. In these next 7 minutes, we're going to hear from someone who's using his uncommon vision and drive to upend the notion that Africa can't have its own premier educational institutions or Ivy League network. A Stanford University MBA and one of Time's 100 most influential people in 2019, his mission is simple and ambitious: to cultivate 3 million game-changing African leaders by the year 2060. How? Through organizations he's founded, including African Leadership University and the College Prep African Leadership Academy, which prove just what's possible when we empower young people with education. Please take it away, Fred Swaniker. And don't you out there forget to join the conversation using hashtag SDG Action Zone 2021 and hashtag for people for planet.
It is heartbreaking for me to see the number of school children all around the world who have been shut out of the education system due to the current COVID-19 pandemic. According to UNESCO, at least 50% of the world's school children have been affected by full or partial lockdowns or school closures because of this pandemic. And at least 100 million young people will fall below proficiency levels in literacy and numeracy as a result of this pandemic. So this situation is clearly unsustainable and unacceptable. And it's something that breaks my heart every day. However, I've also been inspired by the drastic innovations that this moment has brought. One of the things that I believe is that constraints drive innovation. Africa and other parts of the world, the emerging world, have always been faced with constraints, and COVID is just one more constraint. And the good thing about constraints is that it forces you to reimagine everything and to reinvent the way you do things. So I've been inspired by the exciting innovations I'm seeing in online learning and other forms of educational innovation that hold tremendous possibilities for how we drive rapid progress in human capital development over the next few decades post-pandemic. For example, here at the African Leadership Academy, at the African Leadership University, we were forced overnight to send 1,000 of our students back home across the 40 countries in Africa and to move to online learning instantly during the pandemic happened last year. As a result of that, we have, however, developed a whole range of online programs that are now leading us to go 10 times faster than we were before, and to be able to provide education to thousands more young leaders in Africa. I'll tell you one story of how this is affecting, how this is enabling access to education all around Africa. We launched a few months ago a completely online program that is developing today 1,000 full stack software engineers across the continent of Africa. And we're doing this in 33 countries where we don't have a physical presence. We would not have been able to do this before, but we were forced to do that because of the pandemic. And today there's a young woman called Kirbit Bayu who had dropped out of her college in Ethiopia because she fell pregnant. But because of our program, she's today studying 70 hours a week, coding and learning how to become a full stack software engineer at the same time as looking after her child. And that would not have been possible without this innovation that we were forced to do. Or there's a story of Ashraf Ismail, a young graduate from the African Leadership University, who himself is a Sudanese refugee. And he has used this moment to launch the world's first online school for refugees. And he's bringing education to thousands of refugees across the world, thanks to this moment. So there's so many tremendous exciting possibilities that if we lean into them and actually think through what is possible post-pandemic, we can drive rapid progress. But this is not guaranteed. Throughout the world, we see tremendous inequality when it comes to access to broadband internet. And that for me is the first thing that needs to be addressed if we're going to really see the full possibilities. But that's not enough. Basic things like internet, like electricity, and access to a quiet space to study, or access to cheap mobile phones, smartphones, are also necessary in order for us to see the full possibilities of online learning and other forms of innovation that this moment has brought. So we need to hold our leaders accountable to ensuring that every child has access to broadband internet, electricity, and cheap devices, if we're going to realize the possibilities. One of the things that I believe is that crises are moments where our values are tested. And so let us not fail this test. I encourage everyone who's listening to this to really reimagine what is possible with education and to think about the possibilities that constraints drive when it comes to innovation. And let us not simply go back to doing things the way we used to do them before, but rather look at how do we accelerate and really use this moment to change history forever. Thank you.